Namaskar to all MOS and non-MOS members and to all those who have logged in for this unique webinar, which is Beyond Ophthalmology. It's about keeping your mind, body and soul together, especially in these trying times of Corona. I thought instead of having ophthalmology all the time, why shouldn't we have something different like Maggie sauce? So that was the idea behind having this webinar. And we were lucky enough to get Dr. Rujuta Divekar, whom everyone knows, who really needs no introduction, Dr. Barun Nayak, who is also well known in Maharashtra, and my co-speaker, Dr. Anuradha Tote. So I will now hand over the mic to Dr. Preetham for introduction of our guest speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. So I think we are looking forward to a wonderful evening today also. We have a galaxy of speakers amongst our own. We have Dr. Barun Nayak sir from Mumbai. He has been the president of Bombay Ophthalmic Association, Maharashtra Ophthalmic Association, and now is the president of, is going to take over as president of All India Ophthalmic Society. So he is going to speak to us about his journey on becoming a marathoner. So mind you, besides being an eye surgeon, he's an avid marathoner. Besides that, we have our own president, Dr. Sunaina madam, and she's going to tell us about helpful hints for happy lives, especially in Corona times. I think this is something which everyone needs. We have Dr. Anuradha Tote madam, and her topic is a surprise package. And she's going to talk on Bridge the Gap. So I'm looking forward to hearing on that. And last but not the least, we have Dr. Rujuta Divekar. Now, I think she doesn't require any introduction. A very famous nutritionist. Her book, the 12-week diet, is a hot seller, and we are looking forward to her advice on various aspects of life. Her topic for today is staying healthy while staying at home. So I hand over. Vardhaman, would you like to put in a word before Dr. Rujuta can start?
I would just like to say something, Preetham, that I would request all listeners to kindly jot down your questions for Dr. Rujuta, because she has another pressing appointment. So she will be with us only for about 15 minutes, 10 minutes of a talk and 5 minutes for question answers. So please be ready with your questions so that she can answer them before she bids us goodbye. Thank you. Yes, Vardhaman.
Thank you, Dr. Preetham. Thank you, Dr. Malik ma'am. Again, from Maharashtra Ophthalmic Society, we are so lucky and so enthusiastic now to listen to all our stalwart speakers from MOS and Dr. Rujuta Divekar herself. So as we all know, the body has a form, but the spirits are boundless. So as Dr. Malik madam has suggested this time, we are going to have a special session on mind, body, and soul. So here we go. Thank you.
All right. Do you want me to start talking right now?
Please, yeah.
Okay, yes, great. So thank you very much for having me as a part of your mind, body, and soul talk. Before we go any further, I would like to clarify that I'm no doctor. I'm just a dietitian. You know, there are some lesser mortals who are not doctors, who are not even PhD. I am one of those. So there are people like me who don't quite get admission to any college, then we become dietitians, okay? And I mean any college, absolutely. So I'm not talking about medical colleges and stuff like that. So essentially, you've probably invited the lowest common denominator to your talk today. So thank you very much for having me. This is how the other side lives. All right. So talking to you about health and fitness and what is it that you can do during this whole lockdown to stay fit. Well, the first thing that I feel every time that I talk to anyone from the medical field is that, in many ways, it's like journalism. Because if I was to rate two fields or two professions which are quite unfit or don't quite really look after their health as much as they should be, I think one would be journalism and the other one is medicine. And a lot of times with doctors, it starts very early, because in the Indian society, it's all about, right from 8th or 9th standard, you're identified as a sharp, brilliant student who needs to crack that medical exam, score high in 10th standard, score even better in 12th, and then post that, you all know what actually happens while you're studying. Of course, erratic eating, very little exercise, late nights, all of this becomes a part of the medical profession much earlier than what it happens with other professions. So in a way, it's always nice to see someone from your field who's taking fitness and, running a marathon, or maybe even paying attention to just staying healthy before any kind of a disease strikes. Because health is earned on good habits that you build every single day. And also, unfortunately, it is one of those priceless gifts whose value we realize only after we have lost it. So before we lose value for our health, here are a few things that all of you can do while you're at home. Number one, know that body weight is no measure of fatness or of fitness. What really matters is how light do you feel every time you stand on your feet. So feeling light on your feet is much more important than just knocking the weight off. A lot of times when we just knock the weight off, with that, we also knock off our bone density, our muscle tissue, and almost everything that keeps us young and fit and lean. So instead of really standing on the weighing scale, here's what I would like to suggest to you. It's a very easy, non-invasive method of knowing how fat or fit you really are. It's called as the string test. And all that you need is a little string or a tape, and you wrap it twice around your waist circumference. So you wrap it once, and then you wrap it all around one more time. And after you have wrapped it around your waist circumference twice, you measure it against your height. And if that tape is taller than you, you are fatter than what you should be. If the tape is almost your height, then you are quite good for, you're carrying good levels of lean body weight. So it means that you're quite good. And if it's shorter than you, then you're probably athletic. All right. So that's an easier and a much more real way of knowing whether one is fat or whether one is fit, because it will actually account for your metabolic health, So not just about how well you're regulating your blood sugars, but also about, are you exercising enough? So this is what the string test will tell you. Are you exercising enough? Are you sleeping well enough? Are you waking up fresh? Are you not overdosing on chai and coffee? And are you really not having any kind of acidity, bloating, and those kind of problems? Because one tends to have these problems for many years till it finally culminates into some kind of a non-communicable disease. So this is a test that one can do quite easily while at home without any kind of equipment or invasion. That's the first thing that I would want all of you to do. The second thing that I want you to do is, really know that the one thing that the lockdown has done is infinitely or exponentially increased people's screen time. Everyone is on screens like nobody's business, like there is no tomorrow. If people were earlier having cell phone usage of 2 hours and 3 hours, it's now at least 7 or 8 hours. Almost all your work, the very fact that the government is also saying telemedicine and stuff like that is probably going, a lot of that is going to shift online if it's already not shifted online. But the number of hours that we spend on the screen is a surrogate measure for the number of hours that we spend sitting. And sitting is damaging for every organ of the body, because the more you sit, the more you waste your lean tissue. The fatter you get, the older you begin to get, so yeah, so it's a surrogate measure of sitting. And one of the things that you can do, at least right now, is for every 30 minutes of sitting, try standing at least for 3 minutes. So at least 3 minutes of sitting, a few stretches on your chair, or simply do what ophthalmologists often tell their patients to do, to change that focal length and look somewhere far away so that the eyes relax. So maybe what you can do is get up from your chair, walk all the way to your balcony or window, and look as far away as you can so that the body gets some kind of movement. So break your sitting is the second thing that I would like to say to you. And maybe you can start doing that even once you resume full practice, because I do know that once you guys tend to sit, then you sit for a very long time, as one, because you keep seeing one patient after another, there is very little time to move. And I have even seen ophthalmologists who, like, because when you're checking the eyes for dilated pupils, I've seen some of them getting a chair on wheels, and then they just shift from the chair, and don't really get up and move. So maybe you have to work at thinking how many times and what opportunities can you create to break that sitting, because you do know that the human body is not suitable for sitting down on the chair all the time. It just deteriorates with that. So that's my second point. The third thing that I would like to say to you is that traditional diets that are local and seasonal in nature, that are made in your own kitchen, these diets are good for you. So whether it is roti, sabzi, dal, chawal, poha, upma, idli, dosa, paratha, usar, a chicken curry or a fish curry, stuff that you make at home is healthy. The key to good health is to make food from real ingredients and eat lesser packaged and processed food. So I even have a mantra for that. I call it Jitna packet khulta hai, utna pet fulta hai. So you really want a big fat stomach, all that you do is keep opening packets and keep eating out of them. So eat more local, eat more fresh, eat more traditional. I also feel that though lockdown has brought in many challenges, one of the things that it has done for this community is probably given them a chance to be at home and an opportunity to not delay lunch and to not delay dinners. So make good use of that opportunity, eat at time, eat on time, cook more food in your kitchen, and also patronize the local and the local fruits, local nuts. So whether it is the jamun, whether it's the white jam, whether it's the mango, the fruit of the season, or it's simply the melons. So the fruit of the season is important, and nuts, local nuts are also important. So a handful of nuts every day, a fresh fruit every day, at least uh, a fresh breakfast every day, a lunch and a dinner on time, because a healthy body is, I think, the most invaluable asset that anyone can ever have. And the last thing that I would like to say before I throw it open to question and answers is make time to rest. I don't know when was the last time that you had an afternoon nap, and an afternoon nap should be something which doesn't go on beyond 30 minutes, because anything beyond that is toxic and will interfere with your sleep. So get an afternoon nap, sleep on time. And here's me telling you something that you already know. Just before you go to bed, don't be on any gadget, be it TV or be it your WhatsApp or iPad or Kindle. Sleep well in a dark room, sleep well so that you can start your day on a fresh note every single day, even during this lockdown. So that's all from me. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's always, some dietitians always say, don't eat too much oil, don't eat too much of ghee. What's your take on that?
Well, I think too much of anything is a problem. But one of the things that has, that has really affected the whole field of food science and dietetics is this very narrow view of looking at food from the point of view of carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Because then every decade you have a new villain. So maybe when you were in college, you were taught that avoid fat, it is a bad thing. Now they're teaching us, avoid carbohydrate, that is a bad thing. So one of the jokes that always goes around in nutrition conferences is that this whole division of carbohydrate, protein, and fat was supposed to teach the common man how to eat better. But all that it did is that it allowed the food industry to make their profits higher. We all know what is healthy food. Healthy food comes in a local name. Healthy food is endorsed by our grandmother. Healthy food is the food that is getting produced in the fields which are in about 100-kilometer radius around us. And healthy food doesn't come out of textbooks, it doesn't have labels, and it doesn't have a number attached to it. So I think as long as we work at uncomplicating the act of eating, we will actually be able to eat food that is healthy for people, and it is also healthy for the planet, because I think post this pandemic, we are probably facing at some climate crisis too. So we need to evolve a diet that not just keeps us fit, but our future generations fit too.
I think what you have said on last seventh video, Akhya Mila Kabhi Akhya Chura, that's what you want to do the all of them to go about.
Yeah, I do want you all to like move more than what you're doing. Though I'm sure you all make the time for that, enough time for that. Huh?
But then, as you said, that most of us are in lockdown. So, any changes in the carbohydrate consumption, or as it is scheduled, you should be going with the same amount of carbs, proteins, and everything.
See, this is what I'm saying, that I think once we if we are talking about carbohydrate, protein, and fat, then let's not mix those measures with the stuff that we make at home. you know um, So if you make dal and rice, don't think of it as a mixture of carbohydrate with amino acids. Think of it as dal rice or khichdi. If you want to think about carbohydrate, protein, and fat, then you essentially need to be consuming products which are coming from the food industry. So either a low carb biscuit or a high protein cereal or a high fiber something else. And then the more you avoid eating out of those packets, the better off you are in terms of your waist circumference, in terms of your flexibility, strength, stamina, stability, and all of these factors which actually matter to us. So eating home cooked doesn't require any tweaking from the point of view of carbohydrate, protein, and fat. But what we surely require is attention of all our senses every time we are eating food. So just keeping the basics in place, sitting at one fixed place every time you're having a meal, chewing your food slowly, and learning to stop before you're full. If you follow your grandmother's wisdom, then you don't need your food to be low on carb, high on protein, and just the right on fat, or it doesn't need to have any labels. It can just have a proper name.
Okay.
Rutuja, Dr. Rutuja, there's a lot of talk about intermittent fasting. Now, I'm not asking you to give a judgment whether it's right or wrong, but what are your thoughts on it?
I don't know how my thoughts are going to be different from my judgment, but here's the thing. Uh, what we surely know is that it isn't a very safe thing for women to do, because most women seem to have hormonal issues after they have gone through intermittent fasting. So if you're pregnant, if you're menopausal, or if you're simply a woman who's gaining fat because of any kind of hormonal problem, or you are one of those women who has PCOD, PCOS, then it is not such a great thing to do. Hmm? There was also one very interesting study. I'm not sure if any one of you has seen it. It's called as the biology of starvation, and this was done right after the World War, because a lot of people went into starvation, and doctors wanted to study what happens to the human body when it goes through starvation. And what they did in their subjects to simulate starvation is quite similar to the current intermittent fasting practices?
Hello, Ruchita.
All right. Yes.
Yeah, this is 1 second, just a question. I am Dr. Vaishali Une, and I really vouch your what you just said, that because of this 1.5 month of quarantine workout and people eating from their home food, so many have lost their weight. We have a question from Dr. Neerav, and he wants to know that how much is of water do you advise? How much water should we be drinking in these days?
All right, I'll take that as my last question. I think, again, when it comes to water, we tend to drink more water in the summers and lesser water in the winters, because that is also how the body gives us our thirst signals. So drink adequate water till you know that your urine is crystal clear. And sometimes if you've forgotten to drink water for too long, then that's when the sugar craving actually begins to strike in. So one of my tips for adequate water consumption is to always keep your source of water within your eyesight. So if you see it, you tend to drink it, and sips of water through the day is a good way to meet your water requirement.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rujita. Thank you for being
before you
with
leave,
us.
Dr. Rujita, before you leave, there's a small question that as far as the sweets are concerned, jaggery, honey, brown sugar and the white sugar, what would be the best to have it in the reasonable limit? Because you have said that nothing can be, you can continue with everything.
Correct.
So,
it depends on what you're eating. See, the thing is that currently what has happened is people who are giving us food advice, like professionals who are giving us food advice, are disconnected from climate issues. They're disconnected from crop cycle. They're disconnected from culture. So we don't fully appreciate how our cuisine has evolved. Our cuisine is more than 5,000 years old, and we already have a system in place about when to eat jaggery, when to eat sugar, and how to eat honey. So when it comes to our traditional meals, I think the key here is to more listen to our grandparents than really read books or go online to figure what's the healthiest thing that one can adopt when it comes to food. So to just give you a very basic, in winters is when we eat jaggery. So typically if you're eating a bajra roti, you're supposed to eat it with jaggery and ghee. In summers is when you eat sugar. So if you had, like, let's say a nimbu sharbat, then the sweetening agent there is going to be sugar. And if you were having some kind of a kadha or a churan, then the mix, the agent there would be honey. So what is it that we should eat will depend on what season is it and what is it that we are eating it with. So it's actually about the whole combination and not just one ingredient. All right.
Thank you so much, Rujita. I really appreciate you coming in. I think it was worth pursuing you for this talk. Thank you so
very much, Dr. Malik.
Thanks. Okay. We can go to the next speaker, Dr. Barun. It's your time to tell us how you became a marathoner.
Yeah, can you see the screen?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, so now I'll go to slideshow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it's okay, perfect?
Yeah.
No, yes.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. So now, first of all, I'm really thankful to Master Ophthalmic Society and Dr. Sanena Malik for giving me this opportunity and considering that I can also talk on something. And so this is something which means wherever Rujita has talked about, whatever she has talked about, I will take over from there, because it's all both are little intermingled. So just how my journey for becoming marathoner. Now the financial, I have no financial disclosure to make. And one disclaimer, but I have to make, I am neither a sports person nor a professional marathoner. So whatever I am giving, whatever I am telling is all my with personal experience and whatever I think, because I think what Rujita said, that whatever your grandmother and grandmother tells you something, then you give importance to that. Because I remember my father always used to tell me, जब खाना खाओ 32 बार चबाओ, because you have a 32 teeth, so chew 32 times. And this is what she said also just now. So all those things. Anyway, now it is a testing time for all of us dealing with the unforeseen challenges caused by COVID-19 pandemic, which has taken a significant toll on peoples all across the world. It has also, because of this, the physical, financial, and mental health is in jeopardy. Now, coming to the main topic, my journey to becoming a marathoner. When Dr. Sunaina Malik told me to talk on this, then I thought, what should I talk? Then I thought, okay, my journey really started about marathon in 2012, June, July 2012. But then I started thinking that no, really, it's this is something different, and because of that, at this age, I could do that. And what? So first of all, I thought about my childhood and schooling, because in my school, I was in a residential school where, and from the age of 11 years. So compulsorily every day we have to do 20 minutes of physical training in the morning, and we have to go to the ground early morning based on the season, whether 5 o'clock or 5:30 for 20 minutes physical training. Then 1 hour, Monday to Saturday, every day 1 hour, one sport, whatever was allotted. So every person was allotted that today you go to this ground and play this, you will play this. So I was exposed to virtually means all varieties. So this helped me to one habit, get into the habit, which probably I feel is very nice: early to bed and early to rise. Now, when I came to medical college during my graduation days, then by then already, since I was exposed to so much, so I continued my passion with sports, and I didn't know that my potential. And because my medical college was at the on the bank of river Ganges, so and we had a boating club. So I started doing that, and finally I realized that within 2 years I became boating champion, and then later on I was appointed secretary of boating club, and after that means I retained that title during my entire course of MBBS. Represented my college in hockey. But the one story is very interesting because probably that has got some bearing. That there was one sports day, one race was going on, about to start for 5,000 meters race, and I never, because I didn't give my name, but then people said, "Arey, you are doing so much, so you are doing so much sports person. Why don't you participate?" At the last moment, so I said, "Okay, if you are telling, I will do that." I removed my shoes with my trouser and shirt. I started running with all of them when the race started. After 1,500 meters, I realized that I'm way ahead of others. Then I thought I got a lot of encouragement, and everyone started shouting that what I am doing. Then there's someone came with water, used to come with water, that started running with me. You want water? Then someone with glucose. Then someone said, "Arey, now you are feeling so hot." Now then I removed my shirt, but more than that I couldn't remove. So I ran with the trousers on and continued, and I won that race finally. So that is the bottom line. So because of all these achievement in the college in sports, finally, once I was awarded title of college color in my medical college. Then when I joined All India Institute of Medical Sciences for post-graduation, then I continued my interest in sports in spite of paucity of time, because there Professor L.P. Agrawal was there and no time for anything else except study. But still, I used to find some time for swimming and indoor games. And there also in some tournaments I participated and got some prizes. Then finally, in Mumbai, my workplace since 1987, then by now I had developed a burning desire for sports. So I couldn't part with sports wherever, whatever I was doing. And but I thought, why not in my children also I should inculcate this habit. They're very small. So I started taking them to swimming pool every day in the morning without fail from 6:10 to 7 o'clock, 150 minutes every day. And they were very small. Then after 2, 3 years, somehow they showed me interest that we want to play table tennis because they were exposed to table tennis. And so they showed, I said, okay. Then I stopped swimming and shifted to table tennis on the desire of my children. And you will not believe that in the beginning, I used to come from hospital, take them from school at 3:30 or so. So I used to leave early, go directly to the sports club, and with them practice for 3, 4 hours I was doing. And also I used to carry my clothes in the hospital and going to the this sports club. There I used to change and then start playing 3, 4 hours. But then this didn't last for very long because after 6 months, what I realized that they are excelling in that. And later on, they were so superior that probably means I was not, I was no match to them. So then later I engaged a coach for them, which finally resulted both of them playing at national level tournaments in table tennis. So that is something which really gave me satisfaction. But as a byproduct, I became redundant because without sports I couldn't survive. So they were not playing. Now what to do? So that was a dilemma. Then badminton just came to my mind, and a dream come true, something like that. Started around 1997. Before that, always I wanted to play badminton, but because of lack of facility, I couldn't play ever. So then I started around 1997 for the first time, and in 2 years became Hinduja Hospital champion. So I don't know how, and retained that status till 2011. And still people ask me, but I say now I don't play. But lightning struck me suddenly. And what was that? I was advised by my surgeon for cervical surgery because I had a problem in my neck. And they said, now you cannot continue and you have to undergo surgery. So I underwent that. I was advised. And then after surgery, I was advised by the surgeon that not to play any game for next 6 months, which was June 2012. But I saw a dark cloud and I saw a silver lining around the dark cloud because after 6 months, my surgeon said, okay, now I asked, can I do running? He said, yes, you can do running and you can. I said, can I participate in marathon? I said, yes. So then, and fortunately, when my wife also agreed because my wife is a bigger doctor than my operating surgeon. So when she consented, then of course, I became very happy. And then I thought, okay, now I have got permission. So immediately I decided to participate in Mumbai Marathon because that time it was really, means everywhere people were talking about marathon. Stand chart Mumbai Marathon. But the problem was I had no formal training for a long run like marathon. Of course, just sometimes means anecdotal, sometimes I had ran, but not like this. And then how did I prepare? I was already 60 plus at that time, made up my mind to run half marathon. So that I made up my mind. But the problem was I had only 6 months for preparation time and could not afford proper coaching, not financially, but because of constraint of time and tight schedule. So then I thought, why not? Anyway, I was early riser. So I applied formula of 2 into 5 because 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. only, that was the only time, Monday to Friday, because most of the Saturday, Sunday I was out of Mumbai somewhere in conferences, sometimes even on Friday. And 4 to 6 because I start early. I leave my house at 7:15, so I had to get ready and start working. So that's why that was the only time. And but then I devised that, okay, 4 to 6, I will do practice in the morning. Had to keep a balance between my hospital duty and my newly found love for running. And fortunately, my wife consented, and she didn't object that why are you getting up so early and going there and doing something. But I couldn't miss why I also said that couldn't afford any coaching because all coaches, they said, if you want to take some coaching, you have to come after 7. So that time was not suiting me. And all on weekdays, which was definitely not suiting me. And weekends, I was always out of Mumbai. So I visited various websites for training material, read book on how to prepare for marathon. And that book really gave me a lot of insight and a lot of courage. Spoke to some runners. Then also prepared psychologically for continuation of training because you see all sports which earlier I used to play, was every time a competitive sport, short period. So play badminton, immediately you get the result at the end. Every point you get the result, excitement, and so that was the thing. But this was missing in running. So that's why running. Never I took running because I thought it's a monotonous. It's monotonous because how will you enjoy running for so long? So that I prepared psychologically for that, and but also I realized that regularity was a key factor. So I said, come what may. Sometimes even I was coming back from conferences on Sunday night at 12 o'clock flight. Again in the morning, 4 o'clock, I used to go for training on Monday. So that was the thing which I thought I should miss. Followed a regular regime of stretching exercises along with that because all those matter the information which I got from the websites, and proper nutrition of course, because how much carb to eat, how much protein to eat, those things at least that time you want to take that, because it was always recommended everywhere that take more protein, because if you're running then you have to do that. And mental preparation was a real challenge. Means what mental preparation? Because every day you are preparing, and your long preparation, 1 hour, 2 hours, and they say, oh, why I am doing it? Why I am doing it? What? But then in the book which I read, in that book, one sentence was written, which was really always I used to remember and advise everyone that always remember that if you want to experience the joy of crossing the finishing line of marathon race, not that you are running for your competition for winning the prize, winning the race, but for completion of the race, you have to undergo this. Unless you go undergo this training, you cannot have that joy, experience of that joy, that oh, I have done it, I have crossed that line. I experienced the joy of crossing the finishing line of Mumbai Marathon for the first time in 2013, and really I can't describe you that what was that feeling, and crossing the finishing line of full marathon in 2016. And since then, 2013, I have never missed any marathon, and every year I get a lot of advice that sometimes when Dr. Sinha, who was a renowned gynecologist, when he expired during training in the morning, then there was a lot of distraction. A lot of people were advising against this, that you are so aged and you see what happened to Dr. Sinha. I was so fit, and then I said, no, whatever is there. And of course, I got regular basis medical fitness done. And even sometimes I got that stress thallium test done, so that which tells you about the oxygenation of the heart muscles. So those things I used to always get it done and continued that. So what I gained gave me satisfaction that I can do it, and I have done it. And always now I developed a desire and passion for that, boosted energy in me. And I realized that running did not tire me, but gave me the stimulus and a push to work harder. And then I remembered that Professor L.P. Agarwal also always he used to tell us, because he said, do you know, no study has shown that hard work has killed anyone. Always he used to tell us hard work will not kill you. So that was the thing. So it is also helping me to fight the crisis during the testing time of COVID-19. And so my recommendation is to keep on doing yoga, meditation, and physical activity, whatever Rijita also told you about the physical activity during the present crisis and always thereafter. And these are some of the pictures which from the various marathon. And so thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Varun. That was really enlightening to hear how you got into it. And we'll take questions for you, me, and Anu right at the end.
Yeah, correct. That's absolutely correct. Yeah.
Okay. If you can take your screen off, then I'll start sharing my screen.
Stop share.
Yeah.
Now it's okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I have deliberately kept the coronavirus as a cool color because I think that's the way we need to keep it in these times. Why should we allow it to be fiery hot? It's entirely up to us what we choose to do with it. That is my belief. Now, what in general, why am I talking? Why am I giving this talk? Because I believe that in general, I'm a pretty happy and cheerful person. I think those who know me will agree to this. So I thought, why not share the tips that I actually follow myself with others who might enjoy listening to it. So here goes. Now, what do you mean by happy? Actually, it's a very vague term, but the dictionary meaning says it's feeling pleasure and enjoyment because of situations in your life situations, and so on. So, what is my first hint? My first hint is just wake up feeling good. Why should you wake up with a bad mood? Don't get up from the wrong side of your bed, please. Wake up feeling that God has given you another day to live. That's what I always feel. Think of how many people who don't get that day to live. You are lucky, you're getting it, so be thankful for it. In two, be positive. I truly believe in this. I'm a very, very positive person. In fact, my husband sometimes says, you're too positive. So I tell him, I have to be to balance your negativity. But that is just by the way. But yes, I am a positive person because I think if you're positive, you attract positivity from others. There's an aura around you because of your positivity, which draws people to you. Nobody likes to go near a person who's forever crying and moaning. Everybody has problems in life. Who doesn't? Tell me a single person in this world who doesn't have a problem, and I'll give him a prize. But we all know that all of us have problems, but there's no point in crying about them. You have to deal with them. So why not deal with them positively instead of always going on saying, why did it happen to me? Now, this is a very important hint, which even Rujita and Barun have endorsed, which is exercise. I'm a firm believer in exercise. Exercise, exercise, exercise. Even now, during these times, at home, people say, how can you exercise at home? Why not? Whatever you used to do in your gym, or otherwise, whatever exercise you used to do, if you used to do yoga, you can do it at home. If you used to go to the gym and exercises, there are so many exercises which you can do with your own body weight, like squats, lunges, quadriceps lifts, calf raises, leg kicks, leg raise. I can name any number, abs. Why can't you do abs at home? I do my abs at home with my granddaughter's ball every alternate day, and it works for me. So I'm sure it can work for just about anybody. Exercise releases endorphins. We all know that. But somehow we, as doctors also, we tend to forget about it. It makes you feel good about yourself. My hint 4 is, if there is a problem, there's got to be a solution to it. You just have to look around for it, maybe do some out of the box thinking, and you'll find it. Because I believe that God has not sent any lock into this world which doesn't have a key to it. It's just a matter of finding the right key for that lock. Once you've got it, you're there. Another thing, do your best, and to God leave the rest, because there are certain things which are beyond your control. There's no point in thinking about or worrying about them, rather, because there's just nothing you can do. So why worry? It is not going to solve anything. Some things are best left to the superpower about. If you don't believe in God, at least believe in a superpower which is there, and he is pulling the strings for all of us. I'm sure even in this corona time, he is on the lookout for all of us. There is a purpose to all of this that is happening. Maybe saving the environment, maybe cleansing the environment is one of the few things which we've managed to spoil so badly. We don't know, but he knows what he's doing. I firmly believe in that. And I also tell people that I have a very friendly relationship with God, a very comfortable relationship. I don't sit and pray for very long, but I remember him every single day, and I know that he knows that. So that's good enough for me.
Your connection is very unstable.
Hello? This is my next hint. If something cannot be cured, like this corona problem, we cannot cure it. So why not endure it? Just endure it. Just bear with it to the best of your ability.
आहे त्याला नेट सध्या असू दे तुझं नाही येते ना ते
7.
येते पण मध्ये त्याला
Whatever you do it with passion. Enjoy whatever you're doing. If you're doing ophthalm, enjoy it. I really love ophthalmology. That's why I'm still doing it, even at this age. And why should you not? If you do something with passion, it doesn't remain work. It becomes fun. And you like doing it every single day. Don't bother too much about what others think. देखो, अगर आप सोचने लगे कि बाकी क्या सोच रहे हैं, तो फिर उनके लिए क्या रह जाएगा सोचने के लिए? So don't do it. It's an exercise in futility. वो है ना राजेश खन्ना का गाना, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, उनका काम है कहना, तो कहने दो उनको. You continue doing your work. This is very, very important and something which I abide by from ever since I learned how to manage time. If you have learned how to manage time, half of your problems are already solved. You know, getting ready for this webinar, if you know how much time it takes for you to get ready, you plan on starting getting ready at that time, plan on finishing your cup of tea before you log into the webinar, and you're there. That's all time management is. It's about managing your time as per your needs, as per your schedule. So I've always maintained that the busiest people are those who find time for every single thing, including enjoying themselves. Then prioritize. It's very important to prioritize. For example, in these days of Corona, when your maids are not coming home, you need to get food put on the table. Now you tell me, is it more important to have food on the table or to have a clean house? I would go with food on the table. So my priority would be cooking food rather than swabbing and cleaning the floor. So this is how we have to prioritize everything in our life at every step that we go in. This is one hint which I really love, which is love yourself. This is so important because, you know, only if you love yourself will others love you. And only then are you open to love others also. Because you think good about yourself, your self-confidence is intact, you have a good self-image, and therefore you project that to others. And that's how it comes back to you. So I will never forget Kareena Kapoor in Jab We Met. She said, I'm my own favorite. So am I. I love myself. And I suggest you do too. Hint 12. Never fail to acknowledge those who help you, be it your home help, your clinic staff. It makes their day, I can tell you that. And I've always said, behind every successful woman stands a kaam wali bai. I'm often asked this in some other talks, in one of my other talks, how much role did sir have to play in your getting where you have? So I said, a lot. It has a lot to do with him. In fact, if it hadn't been for him, I probably wouldn't be here. But it also has a lot to do with my Kamwali Bai, who's working at home so that I can be part of this webinar. So I can prepare for it and join all of you in it. So that's very important. The next hint is put family first. Facebook, WhatsApp friends will come and go. You know, they're virtual. But your family and very close friends will always be there for you. So mind that you pay attention to them and not neglect them. Yes, this is another thing which is my favorite. Me time. I call it me time because this is my time for doing whatever makes me feel happy. Whether it be going to the gym, it's reading, even my kitty parties, movies, conferences. All this, if it makes me feel good, why should I not enjoy doing it? Why should I be made to not do it? Why should I be made to feel guilty when I'm doing it? No, I should be entitled to do these things which make me feel happy. A very small story about this. When my first daughter-in-law came into the house, one day we were all sitting at the dining table and I was just advising her about this me time. I'm a bit unusual as a mother-in-law, I think. So I was, because she and my son were classmates. So all their friends were common. So I was telling her, you know, you should have a life apart from your husband also. You should have some me time. So her husband, my son says, Ma, your me time is a bit too much. So I told him to just shut up because I value my me time and I don't let anybody interfere with that. It makes me feel good. Why shouldn't I do it? Another thing, never carry unnecessary baggage, whether it be grudges, revenge, envy, anger. Somebody may have harmed you in the past. It's okay. Let it go. Learn to let things go. You know, they say forgive and forget. It's not easy. I know that. It is very difficult to let things go, especially when somebody has hurt you very badly, or, you know, you just can't put it behind you. But I would suggest that you do, because this baggage is only harming you. It is weighing you down. It is not doing anything to the other person who has harmed you. It is only weighing you down. And you can't go forward because you are weighed down by this, all this baggage that you're carrying in your mind. So just learn to let it go slowly by slowly. Thank you all so much. Stay safe, stay home, and stay happy.
Thank you, ma'am. I think it was an amazing and very enlightening talk. Quite expected from you, of course. Now we know the source of all the energy that you have.
Yes.
I think so.
Eye-opener for all of us.
Thank you, Santosh. Now we'll have Anuradha for her talk.
Okay. I'll share my screen. A very good evening, everybody. And today, as we all know that we were so busy in building walls that we forgot to build bridges. And now it's time to build bridges and bridge the gap also. So we straight away start with the brain teaser. I want you to recognize the bridges, but in your mind, okay? So this is the London Bridge, yes, the Golden Gate Bridge, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, the Worli Bridge, our own Worli Bridge, and the Rialto, the Bridge of Venice. Now, my question to you is, what is common in all these bridges? Now, number of factors will come to your mind when I ask you this question, that so many factors are there in common, but one significant one is that they connect. Thank you so much, respected Sunaina ma'am, for giving me this wonderful opportunity, the whole MOS team also, for giving me this wonderful opportunity to connect to so many people. And also, it's an honor to be one amongst the iconic speakers you have chosen. Thank you. I am just a small ophthalmologist and a life coach. Thank you for giving me this wonderful chance. Yes, and so we now try to build bridges, try to connect people. And when we know that when we have to connect to people, we'll need some building blocks. It's a huge topic, but what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you some building blocks which are important. So one thing which comes to my mind is, okay, let us consider it this way, that we are a part of the spectrum. We all are a part of the spectrum. Now this spectrum, you can imagine to the right, it is black, to the left, it is white, and in the middle, it is gray. Okay. To the right side, where it is black, you have people who are ugly looking. They are very ugly looking people. They are not good professionals. They are not good academicians. They are not good natured people. And they are not very happy people also. And to the left, where you see the white zone, here there are people who are very good looking, and they are like Sunaina ma'am, I should say. They are very cheerful all the time. They are very good professionals also. So all the good qualities are there in these people. Now, my question to you is, where do you plot yourself on this spectrum? Well, some of you might say white and some might say even black, but let me tell you, dear friends, that we all fall in the gray zone. Maybe a little towards white, maybe a little towards black, but we all fall in the gray zone. Okay? If you are gray, why don't you accept others to be gray? That's a problem we all face. We are born with imperfections. The other person is also born with imperfections. Let us accept the person completely. Let us accept the person with the imperfections so that we can connect to that person. We can bridge the gap. It will be easy for us to deal with persons when we completely accept the person. So this is my first building block, and this is that you have to accept the person completely. So if your wife is a very good surgeon and she's very good looking, you have to accept that she has a dominating nature as well. So you have to accept her with that. Okay. Now we go to the second building block. How big is actually big? Let us see. Okay, this is the Earth. You can very well see it. And you can see the small planets, which is Mars, Mercury, Pluto, Venus, right? Now we can see that the Earth is so small as compared to the Uranus, Neptune, Saturn and Jupiter, right? Now you can see the Earth is just a small dot, and the huge ball of fire, the sun, is seen, right? Now look at the sun. It is so small, and the Earth is just a small point. You can see it with the pointer. You can see that point, that small dot is the Earth, and this is the sun, which is a little bigger. And as compared to the Arcturus and the Polus, it is so small. Now, the sun itself is just a small dot, barely visible. You can see it with the arrow. And imagine this, as compared to the Betelgeuse and the Antares, the sun is so small, and Antares is not the biggest star. It is the 15th biggest star in the sky. So when the sun is so small, how small the Earth will be. And when the Earth is so small, how small will our world be? And when our world is so small, how small will Asia be? And when Asia is so small, how small will India be? And when India is so small, how small will Maharashtra be? And when Maharashtra is so small, how small are you and me? We are just very tiny creatures, my dear friends. Then why this big ego? Why this big ego? Let us shed off this big ego. I'm sorry to say, but people in our fraternity also have that false sense of superiority. You know, I am the roaring practitioner of my town, and my practice is in crores of rupees, and I have very intelligent children. This is the false ego. Let me tell you, friends, the Bhagavad Gita also mentions about two egos. One is the false ego and one is the true ego. So this is the false ego. What you have to do is you have to shed off the false ego and you have to enhance the true ego. What is the true ego? The true ego says that you are a soul, I am a soul. You are energy, I am energy. You are just a small particle in this huge cosmos. I am just a small particle in this huge cosmos. Now, you and me are on the same platform. We are together. Now it is easy to connect to each other. So let us enhance our true ego and let us shed off our false ego. Let us get our ego in the correct perspective. That is the second building block. The third is when we talk about building relations, when we talk about connecting to people, of course, the most important thing which might come to your mind is communication. And yes, my dear friends, communication is extremely important. It is really, really very important. And we all know that before the lockdown, we were so busy in our practices that we hardly had any time. And whenever we had time, the problem is we were so busy with our gadgets. Even Rujuta ma'am mentioned it, that we are so busy with our gadgets, and it is high time that we come out of it. It's a virtual world. We have to come to the real world. We have to face each other. We have to talk to each other to understand each other. So it is high time that we come out of this virtual world and come into the real world and connect to people. So digital detox is a must. If you can't do it completely, at least gradually, fix some time that, okay, I'm going to see the Facebook and the internet and the WhatsApp and all this for half an hour, not more than that. Something like this you have to fix. Even during the meals, what we can do is we can do mobile stacking. Just take away everybody's mobile, stack it up, and have a very good meal with your family. All of you sitting together at the dining table during dinner, during lunch, and during breakfast. You know each other's problems. You become a part of the solution. Your bonding gets closer. So it's very important that you do a digital detox. It's high time, dear friends. Yes, even Sunaina ma'am spoke about me space, and it's very important. Even in the lockdown, let me tell you, I call it a golden period. You know why? Because we all are together. Our families together. We are we are cooking together, we are eating together, we are playing together. And this is a wonderful we time. We have our own space, that is we space, our space. But at the same time, please remember that each person is an individual also. Each person is an individual also. And each individual has her own requirements. So when you are all together and your daughter wants to listen to music, give her her time, her me space. Let her listen to the music. Because when you encroach somebody's me space, then what happens is when she wants her me space and you encroach it, what happens is you go closer to the person, but that person goes further away. So please respect everybody's me space and give them that me space. Yes, and the last point is giving is power. Yes, giving a smile, giving your knowledge, your wisdom, anything you share, your money, your anything, shelter, whatever the person needs, whatever the person in front of you needs it, you have to give it at the right time. That is very essential. So when you give people at the right time, a very good bond establishes between you and that person. So it is very important that you give the right thing at the right time. And also one very important point, one important story which comes to my mind here is coffee on the wall. Italy, this concept is it's a wonderful concept which they have actually, that one person comes to the restaurant and he asks for 2 cups of coffee, one on the table and one on the wall. 3 persons come to the restaurant and they say 4 cups of coffee, 3 on the table and 1 on the wall. Then I saw a person who was wearing worn out clothes and pale looking person, a poor looking person. He came, he sat there and he asked the waiter 1 cup of coffee from the wall. And that waiter, what he did was he took out the chit of paper from the wall, he tore it off and he brought the coffee and he gave it to that person with all the respect. This is the way we should be giving. This is the way we should be giving. The person who gave did not know to whom he is giving. The person who received did not know from whom he is receiving. And he is receiving it with all the respect. That is important. So let us give it in this way. And when we give, we get connected not only to our near and dear ones, not only to our friends and relatives, but to strangers as well. And this is the right time. There are so many needy people. We were discussing just before the webinar that there are so many laborers and so many people who really need our help. So let us give our help in whatever way we can, in the form of money, in the form of shelter, whatever way we can. So, and let us remember that the world is one family. The world is my family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So let's have a quick recap, my dear friends. Yes, first building block was understanding people. Then second thing we saw was the false ego and the true ego, how you have to enhance the true ego and how you have to shut down the false ego. Communication is very, very important. The me space and the we space, and giving is power. And before I wind up, I'm going to give you I'm going to share a secret with you. And the secret is to live forever. मौत से बचने का एक शानदार तरीका है. मौत से बचने का एक शानदार तरीका है लोगों के दिलों में जिंदा रहना सीखो. ये मौत, ये जनाजा, ये कफन, ये सब बातें हैं मेरे दोस्त. वरना इंसान मर तो तब जाता है जब उसे याद करने वाला कोई ना हो. So dear friends, please get connected to people, build bridges, bridge the gap also, and live in the hearts of people. Thank you so much for a very, very patient listening. Thank you.
Great, fantastic.
Yeah.
Very good, Anuradha. That was absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Do we have any questions from the moderators?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we have several questions for all three, more for Dr. Barun Naik, sir. Before that, I think we had a question from Dr. Bhosle, sir, from Parbani. So I think it was for Rujita, but maybe he wants to know how much is too much. So if any one of you can answer it, or shall we go to the next question?
I think Rujita answered it. She said in her talk that eat less than you need. Means stop eating before you're full. If you remember, she said that. And that's a principle to follow, because if you keep eating till you're full, then you're eating too much. You're eating more than you need.
Yes.
So I hope that answers Hanuman's question.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Prashant from Melbourne wants to know, he wants answer from BK Nayak sir, that can you recommend any book to start or prepare for the marathon?
Offhand, really, I don't miss, because I have whatever I could get material from the website, various webs. I did that. I think one book I read was by Mr. Sethi, who himself is that name I just forgot was the title of the book, but that book was, he himself started running, and that time he is a big entrepreneur, and now he runs, including his wife, even participated in those South African run, which is that 89 kilometers.
Yes.
Yeah. From
So
Cape,
that's something
Cape Point to
superb.
Cape of Good
There are
Hope
many,
to
I can't
Cape Town.
only Madhav can tell, because he is
No.
a much better runner than me.
No, sir. You are a full marathoner. But anyway, that's a Yaso. Running on the Air is the book written by Yaso, who is also known for the Yaso run. So that's the book for Dr. Prashant from Melbourne. And there is one more question for Dr. Nayak, that whether the morning times are good for the running or the evening times are good for the running.
That was one from Dr. Mrunmai from Jalna.
Okay.
No, I think that is probably, I cannot, there is no good time or bad time. Only thing that when you are running, you should be, not eating, you should not be with heavy stomach. So you should not have eaten food, meals. So then it's morning and evening. Whenever you get time, I think it's probably that is the best time, because for me that was the most suitable. So that's why I was doing that.
But sir, the evening when you're back from work, so wouldn't it be a little tiring to get yourself up, or you think that it's just a matter of motivation?
Yeah, so according to me, definitely morning is the best time according to me. But then I don't have any scientific basis for that.
Can I just add something to this? Actually, many people ask this: what is the best time to exercise? I've always maintained this, that whatever time suits you best, exercise at that point of time. There's no best time. What you feel is best for you may not be best for others. If I want to go to the gym at 8 o'clock, that is my best time. Others may want to go at 6 a.m. And when I used to walk, before starting the gym, when I used to walk, people used to tell me, nahi, but subah 5 baje utna padta hai. So I used to tell them, which doctor told you to get up at 5 in the morning to do your morning walk? Get up at 6:30, start your walk at 7, be home by 8. There is no fixed rule to this. I think Barun will agree to that. Each to his own. That should be the criteria.
I think what Madam has said is to the perfect target, that it should suit to the person, and that shows your positive approach. All your 15 tips is so baat ki ek baat you have said. That's, I think, that's the perfect way.
Sir, how do you prevent?
Yes.
Sir, how do you prevent injury while training yourself?
Good question.
What sort of diet you take, especially when you started initially? How you prevented injury? And there must be some pain factor.
So one more question in relation to Dr. Santosh thing. Dr. Rahul from Karad is asking, how much do you run daily, and have you ever experienced the shin splits?
Yes. So one thing I'll just tell you first about that, how much time. One thing that everywhere I have read, that it should not be a fixed pattern, that every day, not that you should make every day 15 kilometers or 10 kilometers or something like that. It has to be variable over a week. So you should count how many kilometers you have run in a week. That is more important, but not every day same count, because then it's a count, not it becomes a counterproductive. The second thing you were asking about
how to prevent injuries.
Injuries, yes. Shin splints, I never got that. But shin splints, one thing that you should realize, that because of lack of vitamin D, because you take vitamins and enough mineral supplement, then these things will not come. The second thing, how to prevent injury, don't overdo it. Ever don't do it. Overdo it. Say, before that, whenever you start, there is initial warm-up exercises. So those warm-up exercises you must do. Say first a small run, then loosening your body, means from neck to all to the total entire body, and especially the 3-4 muscles are very important, that it should be stretched, like your hamstrings, your calf muscles, your groin muscles. So though, and plus apart from that, all other arm and all neck muscles, all those things. And once you have finished your running, then again it should come to your final, the cooling off exercises. So in the beginning, warming. And why warming? Because what explanation was given to me, that your best performance is when your body not at your normal body temperature, when you are slightly heated. So in the beginning you warm up. Later on, once you have finished it, then again you should cool off gradually. So that's why again relax all those stretching exercises, and apart from that, some other breathing exercises, and those exercises should be done. So this is what my usual, and as I said, I never took any formal training, but whenever I did that, whatever various reading and discussions, this was the final outcome of that, and I used to follow that. So this is what, even if you have less time for running, but then don't deviate from this routine of warm up, doing that running, and again cooling off. And plus also you have to also do some exercises for your various muscles, because those, especially the core muscle exercises, are also important, because then you will get less tired when you are doing it. Otherwise, the sometimes unnecessary your extra muscles will be active when it should not, when you can preserve it when you're doing it more systemically. I think Madhav is really, means he is a probably, means I really find I consider himself as my guru, because once he was trying to tell me, sir आप चलिए वहां दौड़ने को, किधर, लद्दाख. I said, I will not go. He said, I also, because I discussed with some of the physicians, internal medicine physicians and pulmonologists, they said no. Even I conveyed him this, that they said that, then he told me that I'm doing this, and I'll go without acclimatization, because high altitude, the oxygen is less, you are running, and if you are not acclimatized properly. But ultimately he didn't listen to my advice and doctor's advice. Even also I told him, my doctor said, is he MBBS doctor? I said, yes, he's MBBS doctor. But he did it. He went there. Today he reached. Next day he participated, and I'm really happy that nothing happened to him.
That was with
the
God's
mind
grace,
over
nothing
body.
happened. I think it's a all mind game, as I understand.
Mind over body.
Second is that for the Rahul, that was that split shin. One of my friend who is a pathologist here in Jalna has developed it twice, but still he is back on the track. He has taken the adequate rest as per the advice by the orthopods, and then he's entirely back on the track. He started running again. His entire 1 year was lost because the twice happening of the split shin, but he's back at the work on the tracks.
For everybody's benefit.
Never over push, because if there is any part of your body is giving trouble, that there is some injury that you realize, then don't think that no, I can anything I can do still. So then take proper help, medical help. Unless it is recovered, then again you restart, as Madhav said just now.
Yeah.
So a few tips about diet tips for runners.
Yes, diet, basically whatever Rujita said, no, that anyway I am not very fond of all those.
Basic.
Yeah, basic, that in this the protein should be little more, because protein is the one which builds muscle, and here because your muscles are the one which is really acting more. And
which protein you should have? Which protein? We specifically tell that.
Whatever protein, yes, I will tell you, because I am a vegetarian, so I can't take all those diet which is non-veg diet. So I rely mainly, but of course I do take egg. So that time always I used to take eggs, and I always made sure that I used to take enough pulses, because that is the only protein which normally we get in for vegetarians. And apart from that, enough green vegetables, because that is also equally, because it may not be giving you energy, but it gives you nutrition, micronutrients in various vegetables, which are so that is something which is again important. And anything which you don't overdo it. And what Rujita said, which probably, because how much is the extra eating, and that even I recollect my father always used to tell me, do you know the best time to stop your food is whenever you feel that, oh, I should get little more. So that is the best time to stop eating, because once you think that, oh, now don't give me anything, I'm full, that is probably not the time when you should stop. So these are the basic general principle which I follow.
To Dr.
And I think
Santosh,
everyone should follow.
I think to Dr. Santosh, I have some time back, I was fully onto the almost in the zero carb diet about 8-9 months back, but then I realized that the proteins alone take a lot of time to get converted into the energy, and I used to feel too much tired at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I read more about it, and then I have back with the carbohydrates first. Second is these all whey proteins and these all supplements are good for nothing actually. 2 years back, I have entirely stopped all those things, which I used for about a year or so. I think natural protein sources are too good. Otherwise, also eggs are there, and a few other pulses are there. So natural sources too good than the whey proteins.
Madhav, I'm so happy to hear you say that about whey proteins. I hope both my younger sons are listening to this, because they are so much into, packaged proteins.
No. I have discontinued that about a year and a half back almost.
Yeah, I've never done it. I've never done it, even in spite of going to the gym regularly. But there are many people who do believe in taking protein supplements, even among my friends, among my gym friends, I know. So you feel they're not necessary?
No, see,
supplemental food, I think is really not, it should better to avoid, because I also once I got little inclined towards that. But then when I discussed with some people, they said, no, it is not good. Rather, it's basically, it's a more of a business gimmick rather than anything which is going to help you. Yeah, Madhav.
No, but then some people, those who are so positive about this, all the food supplements, they say that you can go with the exact meter dose, 1 gram per kg body weight, approximately, it is recommended for the proteins. But I think meter dose doesn't make much of a difference, because we are not the professional athletes or the elite runners for that matter. So it's our hobby and passion to be positive overall, like what you have said. So
I think
yes, ma'am.
For the benefit of our listeners, I was going to introduce both our moderators, both of whom are very special. As Dr. Barun Naik said, Dr. Madhav Ambekar from Jalna is a marathoner himself and a very good ophthalmologist. Dr. Vaishali Une from Aurangabad is my colleague, and she's an all-rounder in all ways. So we are very happy to have them with us today. And now I'll let them take over from here.
Thank you, ma'am, for the kind introduction. I'm really glad I'm here today. And I just like your slides of happiness. So I love dancing. I love singing, though I wouldn't say I'm a great one at that. But dancing just gives me so much pleasure. I was reminded of Rujita's when Barun sir was talking that open the packet. So that whey packet came into my mind. So again, it is like open the packets and it is not good. It is not going to do much of health. It is not going to give much of the health for you.
There's a question from one of my friends. I had told all my classmates to be on this webinar because I wanted them to hear it. And this is Dr. Surekha Kondinya from Bombay. And she wants to know what is the connection between mind, body, and soul, according to the speakers. Who would, Anuradha, would you care to take that?
Yeah. Mind, body, and soul. See, what I feel is the mind controls the body and the body controls the mind as well, but mind controls the body more. And soul is the ultimate thing. As I told in my talk also, like what is true ego? We are souls. So basically we should be aware that we are souls. And there's a connection between the soul, mind, and the body. So all three are interrelated. Even in medicine, like even for the patients, if you talk about it, now if a patient comes to you and if that patient is really happy, many patients say कि आपको तो देख के ही हमारी आधी बीमारी दूर हो जाती है. So when they have that in mind, once they have that faith in you, so that mind plays a good role. The medicines really work on the body when your mind is really positive about it. So it is all interconnected.
I think there's a question for Dr. Nayak sir from Johri madam. What is the difference between static cycling and cycling on the road?
Uh, really, I think you can answer.
Yes,
I am more than convinced that going outside on the roads is too good, because static cycling, finally you are onto the same surroundings. So outside exercise are much better. And fortunately, I am finding some time in between also in the current situations. We are in the orange zone. So sometimes I find time to go out and have exercise schedules in the morning times.
Yeah,
Maybe more oxygen supply outside than inside.
Definitely.
These days, there's a lot of means I will say that it's something like fancy thing that you do that spin cycling, which is in the gyms, and usually there's something different where you can increase the and you can do all those, because when recently I was in US sometimes back, then my daughter is really into this too much. So she told me that, oh, daddy, come here now. Experience this. So I went because there's 1 week free trial. So I said, okay, I'll come. And so, but that for a short period, I really enjoyed it, because it's but it's, I think outside gives you different kind of feeling, what you said, no, that it's something you're mentally, because one thing is you're doing physical thing. Second is there, you're mentally, you are satisfied and happy because you are in the surrounding, you are seeing different people. So that gives a different feeling.
No, but in the current context, let me tell you, Nayak sir, that I am running with the mask on. And believe it or not, I think it is giving me a good experience to run again, going back to Leh Marathon.
Ladakh.
SQ2 has gone down to as low as 87% once.
You are training for Ladakh marathon.
I think, yeah.
Since you are on the topic of cycling, some time back, about I think 3-4 years back, there was this new fad in Mumbai where they called it spinning, where in gymnasiums they would have this cycling, and you would have a person to guide, and then they would cycle based on music. So from slow music they would go to fast music, come back to slow music, and it had become very popular a couple of years back. Even now, I think those kind of gymnasia, they call it spinning.
Yeah, this is what I was talking. No, spin cycling, but a spin cycling.
Nayak sir and Madhav, can you just elaborate on core exercises? Because core exercises are very vital, and not many people know about core exercises. Can you just
over exercise or what?
Core exercise. Sir, can core.
Okay, core
strengthening the core.
Yeah, I think for the paraspinous muscle, hamstring, and the anterior thigh muscles, these are the main things which are to be done in proper exercise. So I think if you do and the most important is the exercise for these muscles will improve your core building. What normally I have been doing is the 2 days of the cardiac exercise, 2 days of for the flexibility yoga, and 2 days of the weight training. I normally go ahead with this kind of a schedule.
And core muscles also include your stomach muscles. Those
yes, absolutely.
For the planks and
yes. So
rectus abdominis.
Yeah.
When I do my abs at home, I make it a point to do my plank exercises regularly, because that really strengthens your core. If you can hold it for a minute and more, I think that's pretty good. I pat myself on the back if I can do that. 1 minute, according to me, not according to my trainer, she would say it's 40 seconds, when I think it is 60 seconds. But anyway, something is better than nothing. So as Santosh has said, as Preetham said, strengthening the core is extremely important. And nowadays there's another thing which has come up is HIIT, high intensity something workout. I'm forgetting the
intermittent workout.
High intensity intermittent workouts. So that is a big fad in gyms, nowadays. And trainers are really after their members, those who are under them, to go for it. And it's really tiring. It's really tiring, I can tell you. I don't do it.
Too much is not too good anytime. What Nayak sir has said, too much is not too good. Maintain certain this thing, and I think that should be good enough.
And just remember the thing I read, that take good care of your body. It's related to body and mind and soul. So take good care of your body, because that's the only place you have to live.
Absolutely.
But I think for both of you, Dr. Anuradha and Dr. Mrs. Malik Madam, I think there is a good question coming up for all of us to know. What should you do when you get extremely angry? I think...
Okay. As probably my close friends and acquaintances know, I used to be very fiery, earlier on in my younger days. I had a very quick temper.
We have seen your firebrand.
You know, all my classmates have put a label on me and my husband. They call it taming of the shrew. So you can understand from that what I was like in my heyday. So I have always had a very quick triggered temper. But as time has gone by, I've realized that, you know, once in anger, if you have said something, it cannot be taken back. So it is always better to think twice before you say something when you're angry, when you're very angry. Sometimes it is beyond your control. I know that. But the best thing to do at that point of time, I would say, is walk away. Walk away from that place which is causing the anger. Because if you're not there, you're not going to say anything. There won't be any repercussions. And I remember another saying by my mother-in-law. She would always tell me, because I was very quick to answer back, you know. So not at all the ideal bahu, I think. So she would always tell me, "Ek chup, saw sukh." If you understand by that, कि एक बार चुप रहो तो उसमें 100 सुख मिलता है. And I used to never abide by it, but I think now I do. I think 10 times before I say anything. Maybe it's maturity coming in. I don't know. Anuradha, what would you say?
Always
one more thing I would.
When it is too late.
Yes, absolutely. But it's never too late, Varun. I never believe in it being too late.
No, you're always young.
Yeah, one tip which I would like to give regarding anger is that count in the reverse order, and it really works. I mean, see, when you're like about to react, you don't respond when you're angry. You react. So when you're about to react, just remind yourself, okay, this is going to harm me more than the other person. It is like drinking poison and feeling that the other person should die. That won't happen. First, you are going to die. So first realize that it's going to harm you more, and count in the reverse order, maybe from 100 to 1. That really works. And I always feel that one person, when one person is out of control, he cannot control the other person who is out of control. So at least one person has to be in control. So that person is obviously you. It's me, right? So let me understand this and act in that way. And always try to respond to people rather than reacting. So that will, keep you calm.
But that counting can be counterproductive. Because you're counting, someone else may be more angry. So how do you handle that?
By that time, he will have the time to think, and even you will have the time to think what is right, That much of time you get.
But the speed cannot change.
He has the time to slap you and go away while you're doing reverse counting.
That might happen rarely, ma'am, but it really works.
It's a rare situation. There's a question from Dr. Anil Singh of Nagar. Which mode of exercise is better, running, cycling, some sports, or swimming in this COVID-19 area? I think there's no question in this COVID-19 area. You can't go swimming, obviously. And
green zone, the orange zone, the red zone.
Yes, it depends on where you are. If you're in the green zone, go out and cycle. If you're in the Madhav or Barun, you want to answer this?
No. Gym is anyway closed everywhere.
Yes.
Everything is closed. So you can't do all those things. So basically what I am doing right now is just in the house itself. I am every day in the morning. Means it's about 1 hour, definitely 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes. Either I walk or sometimes I try to run in between. So those things will keep you healthy and keep you fit, and always you will be active. So whatever you can do, there is nothing you can say that this is better and this is bad. Whatever you are used to and whatever you can lay your hands on, you should do that.
There is a jungle which is very close to me, and I had a chance. I keep going every day, almost even during this lockdown periods, for about 45 minutes to 1 hour, and that's too good. It is hardly about 1 kilometer from my place. So, but that
Bombay, I'm used to taking walks on Malabar Hill and Marine Drive, but now with this stay home, so I have developed a different routine. I do about the routine lasts for about 45 minutes to an hour, where I'm doing Surya Namaskar. Then I'm doing, so Surya Namaskar practically takes care of your back, your arms. I'm doing squats. So squats are good for your hamstrings and your lower back. Then I'm doing lunges, where you put your one leg forward and do lunges. That helps. And I'm doing a lot of Pilates and abs, so that helps the core. So this is 45 minutes, because within the house you have to be totally into house. So all my Marine Drive and Malabar Hill walks are stopped. So this is what I'm doing.
I have
Been
started
walking up
using
and down
grooming
the
the house
stairs.
also. I have
You
started
can
grooming
climb
the house also.
stairs. Actually.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Up
You can climb stairs also.
Climb the
That is also a very good exercise.
I think each of us needs to develop their own way of finding out what suits them in this period of COVID, how to exercise. But what I would emphasize on is you must exercise at home. Don't go out. I have seen in my own area, in my colony, a group of 10 men. They were walking on the road, taking an evening walk, half of them without masks on. I immediately stopped them, and as is my wont, I never stopped to
Blasted
think.
off.
I blasted them right and left. After that, among them was one Sardar who never showed up again with any other person. He came alone the next day because I think he was scared that I might really hand him over to the police, because I had threatened them with that. I said, if I see you all again, so many of you all together in a group, why can't you walk alone? I mean, where's the sense? The government is telling you, the administration is telling you, don't be in a crowd, and there you are doing your exercise together. It's just irresponsible.
But do you know, madam, in Michigan, one security guy told one couple, lady, that why are you not wearing mask? That gentleman went inside the house, brought the gun,
I
and
know.
yeah, and
Yeah.
shot him. So be careful.
Yeah. As my husband is very fond of telling me, कि तू एक दिन पिट के आएगी. He always tells me.
मैडम औरंगाबाद में आपको हिम्मत है किसी की? Anyway, but there is a question to Dr. Nayak sir, that any specific reason why the specific kilometer running every day is not good, and anger is always there when the things do not happen as you want. So accept the things as it comes to you. I think that what she wants to communicate. But for the question wise, it is for Dr. Nayak sir, why specific kilometers are not to be taken every day?
Why the same kilometers?
Yeah.
Well, because that is the reason which is given for this is, then you are not getting the benefit because your body get acclimated, or you can say accustomed to that one routine, fixed routine. So that's why every time you have to keep on doing slightly different. So you are challenging your body. That is the explanation which I have read, and that's why earlier I used to do that. That okay, now it's every day I'll run 10 kilometers or 12 kilometers. But then once I came to know about this fact, then I stopped doing that, and then I thought, okay, now make a plan. Then I remembered first time when I started and got the schedule from the website. Then it was written that okay, once you are starting doing, then first month, first week you should run total cumulative this much in 1 week and divide in 1 day, 2 day, 3 day like that. And in between you should also give some gap for doing some other activity and other exercises.
Very true. So
I think, are there any more questions, Madhav, Vaishali, or are we done? Do we have
it is a question to, I think to Madam as well as to Dr. Mrs. Tote, that why I should always be controlling the anger and why I cannot teach. I said, I think that doesn't need much of the explanation. Why me and you only should control the anger?
Because you can only control yourself. You cannot control the other person.
I think there is a very nice saying that if I cannot change the situation, I should try to mold as per the situation.
Absolutely, because the only person you can change is your own self. There is one more. There's one last question we'll take, which is again from my friend Dr. Surekha. She asks, are there any techniques to connect mind, body, and soul? Anuradha, would you care to elaborate on that?
Okay, yes. Techniques, see, meditation is the best one, I feel. And meditation, what I feel is, it is completely relaxing yourself. It can be any method you like. It can be any method. You just concentrate on your breathing, or you listen to music, or you do guided meditation. So many YouTube videos are there. You can do guided meditation, or you can just play the guitar. I mean, whatever way, you just have to completely go inside it. You have to be completely into it. That is meditation. You completely relax so that you get connected to your higher self. So once you're connected to your higher self, you get results. You become aware of yourself, and you start getting results. The only thing is that you have to do it regularly. I have been doing meditation since 16 years, and I'm very fortunate, very lucky, I should say, that I'm getting wonderful results. But instantly you can't get it. Instantly you can't get it. You have to keep on doing it, keep on doing it. So whatever way you like.
I'll just add a little bit to this. No offense to any organization or any person whatsoever, but a lot of people believe in gurus, and they will join Art of Living, Landmark Foundation, ISKCON, or various other organizations. But I always ask people, or I tell them, hey, what is it that these organizations or these gurus can teach you, which life itself doesn't teach you? I think life is the best teacher that you've got. Learn from your own life, learn from others around you. Personally, maybe it's a personal thing. I said personally, and no offense meant to any organization. There are diehard fans of these organizations. I may be really, going down in the popularity charts for saying all this. But this is what I firmly believe, that each of us has to find our own way to connect with the soul. That is my way of thinking.
I think there is no guru better than observation and introspection.
Yes, absolutely. Learn from your own mistakes.
Yes.
And regarding anger, I would just like to chip in that recently I read one of Buddha's quotes that forgiveness. So forgive not because for that person, but forgive for your own peace of mind.
Exactly.
That's what I said. That's what I said. Don't carry unnecessary
loads on your back.
Because it harms you, more than anything. I've seen this firsthand. I will not elaborate on that, but I've seen this happening firsthand with someone who couldn't let go of things. And it was bothering them so much. I could see the agony that that person was going through. I used to keep telling her, let it go, let it go. She used to say, it's not so easy. It's easy to say, it's not easy to do it. I totally agree with that. Everybody has their own method of dealing with things. So what suits one, it's not everybody's cup of tea. I think, and once you've accepted that fact, that what suits you may not necessarily suit others, I think that's the end of the matter. You will be able to get along with anybody once you acknowledge that. I think, as Anuradha would also say, once you accepted that person totally, as she said in her talk, that's it.
So, accept the person as it is.
As they are, yes. Don't expect them to become what you want them to be.
But madam, this is very easy to give advice, but no one follows themselves. But while giving advice, everyone comes forward with some advice, piece of advice.
Absolutely.
But then, at least back home, I do follow this system that there is a full liberty to me and to by my wife, and I give full liberty to her also.
That's nice to know. We'll have to ask her about that.
Always.
So I have a difference of opinion here regarding forgiveness.
Okay.
See, what I feel, there's a difference between let go and forgiveness. As sir very rightly said, it is difficult to practice. Forgiveness is a very divine word. It's very deep. It's very difficult to practice. See, letting go is, when a dog barks at you, for example, and you let go, okay, ignore him and you go walk your way, And forgiveness is when a dog barks at you, you befriend that dog. You go near to the dog. You forgive him completely. You befriend. So two things are different, I feel. So letting go is better. I mean, it's easy for us. Once you go to that spiritual level, forgiveness, of course, we can do. But when we reach that spiritual level, and forgiveness is really, talking it out to that person and then completely embracing that person, even though that person has hurt you. So removing it completely from your mind, and it's really difficult. But letting go is comparatively easy.
नाथांनी जे 800 वर्षापूर्वी केलं, 108 वेळेला जाऊन ते गंगेचं पाणी आणलं. I think what Dr. Anandana says is the same thing. त्याला फार कमी लोक जाऊ शकतात पण.
And rather, that is a very deep thought that you have given for us at the conclusion of our webinar. I think it's time to conclude it. Otherwise, Barun is going to eat up my head. As it is, he was very firm on us sticking to time. We've already overshot it. So, friends, please wait for our next webinar on 23rd May, which is going to be another amazing one. we are going to have Professor Harminder Singh Dua from Nottingham, England with us on cornea. So wait for it on 23rd May. And now I hand over to Vardhaman for his vote of thanks.
Thank you very much, ma'am. And I think as all of us have read the recent article by IGO, where the recent COVID times have caused 33% of ophthalmologists to go into depression. So I think this whole webinar and its concept by Dr. Malik ma'am about mind, body, and soul was timely. And I think all of us needed it. And I think all three speakers, I mean, of course, I will start with Dr. Rujuta. I think she was terrific. And she really intermingled the traditional science of Indian cooking along with the health. I think that was very amazing because I think that was something we really enjoyed. And when it comes to mind, body, and soul, I think all the three outstanding speakers that we have from MOS, I think Dr. Naik sir spoke about the body. It was amazing to know his whole journey about marathon and his athletic past. Dr. Anuradha was the mind. She really helped us to bridge the gaps and really become better people. And the soul was, of course, Dr. Malik ma'am with so many pearls to make our life better, especially needed in these COVID times. So I'm really thankful to also our moderators. I think ever smiling Dr. Une ma'am and Dr. Ambekar sir, who has really shared a lot of pearls with all of us, and our MOS, our own team, Dr. Preetham and Dr. Bide sir. And of course, we are very thankful to all the participants who joined. And we look forward to your feedbacks. As ma'am said, on 23rd, we have another landmark webinar coming in. So thank you once again, everybody. Thank you.
We also would like to thank ENTOD for their
yes.
support.
I think last but not the least, I think this would have not been possible, definitely with help from Nikhil Masurkar, his family, and ENTOD, who has been very, very huge support for MOS webinars, which are going places, not only in India, but also out of the country. They are becoming popular. Thank you so much, Nikhil and Team ENTOD, for everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.